Well, yeah, I guess that's true too.
Well,
That's
mine's
about as one.
upstairs if you need one.
Oh, but then he'll like get more stories about him being adorable. Seriously, have you not read his fic about him talking to his, like, playing ponies with his son? It's like diabetes inducing.
I realized.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Seattle's Angels stream number
43?
yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't
I,
make Douglas Adams jokes last time.
I can't Roman numerals. Yes, but anyway,
You
we
can't a lot of
have
things.
yeah. We have a lot of the usual crew here, as well as we have a special guest over on this side of the I don't know where he is, but we have Pasco White joining us. Hey Pasco.
Hello there, and by special, do you mean the kind that rides the short bus?
No, the
Hi.
kind is thrown at people.
Oh.
That's true. I throw rocks at people all the time.
Exactly.
I mean, is this kind of like a defenestration sort of thing, or?
Maybe.
I might have wandered into the wrong room.
Possibly. That's okay. You can still keep
Well,
it.
you can't leave now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry, we locked the doors.
Yes.
Red's busy chewing through your mouse's wire, so.
Oh, is that why he's red? He's charring. Starts get a nice red glow before the burn really sets in.
Anyways.
So, yeah. We're missing Plum, we're missing Alex, but we've got Ferret, and Ferret's apparently like the new fan favorite after last week's or 2 weeks ago's stream. So we don't need those losers. So
Also, I'm basically Alex's alter ego, so technically you have Alex here.
we did decide that she like Alex is her evil twin or something like that. So she's the good twin, or
Something like that. I don't know.
I thought they were both evil.
I don't like to, tie myself into such arbitrary judgments of good and evil. It just, I don't know, seems too much.
You got to keep your options open,
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't want to tie yourself and typecast yourself to any one particular thing.
I like to think of Alex as one of those little twins that's, only about 1.5 feet long, that's attached to your stomach, and you have to get removed after a year.
I have met Alex at several conventions. I can confirm that this is indeed what he looks like.
Okay, excellent.
Second.
It's really neat when your mental picture just syncs up.
Yeah, it was how I first, recognized him, was just, oh, okay, he's attached to someone. All right, that must be Alex.
So we do have the reviews from last week, and we do have Ferret, who was on those reviews. So why don't you take us through quickly the 4 fics that we had, and
I believe I can do that. The first fic was a series of events by GAP Jaxie, or Gap Jaxie, I don't know how he pronounces it.
but pretty sure GAP is great and powerful, but yeah.
Yeah, true, but I just call him Jaxie because, laziness and all.
Exactly.
This fic I really loved. I said this was one of those stories that when Professor Plum first approached me and said, hey, do you want to join Seattle's Angels? My immediate response was kind of, oh my gosh, I have to get this story into it. I love it. I couldn't tell you why I do. I think just because it feels so simple, but at the same time there's so much more to it. Like, I mean, literally the first 3 chapters are about being lazy, eating grass, and having sex. But there's so much more detail to it, and just, this production, encouragement, and maintenance of harmony in the world. Which
That sounds like my weekend.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Being lazy and eating grass or all the harmony bits?
Well, okay, you got me.
Or the
I stopped
sex
eating grass.
But yeah, I think that I had read this one as well, and I think that like it takes Celestia at like an extremely naive, like literally just been created by a creator standpoint, and so she's asking very basic questions and getting very basic answers, and so just kind of the way that it explores the universe through this kind of simple lens.
Filter.
Yeah.
It's because, like she's happy with a simple answer of you eat grass. Okay, hey, grass is pretty tasty. And then kind of as her perception and intelligence and awareness sort of increases, then she sort of goes, okay, well now I need another question. Like, it feels very much like you're watching a child You know, like you're watching a development of a child, but I mean way sped up. You know, it's kind of she's immediately going from, okay, I can walk, now I can talk, now I can do this, now I can do that.
Cool. So, what about the second story then?
The second story was, as soon as I remembered I had it, I kind of went, okay, we have to do this one, because it's called Fury. And it's by Justice Snake, who's an author, geez, I've probably been following for a while. And he's really, really cool. It's basically about a couple of animals that Fluttershy takes care of, and it's not outright stated what they are until the end of the story, which is why I tried really hard in my description and my review to not actually say what they were. And so their names are Megara, Tisiphone, and Alecto, which I really liked personally because they're named after the Furies from Greek mythology, but they don't really have anything to do with the Furies. It's just kind of, hey, these are cool names. This one I really love just because they really managed to take that Looney Tunes style gross comedy and actually make it work on the page. Like really the kind of stuff that Pinkie Pie is usually accused of doing and doesn't tend to work well in text form, they actually really managed to pull off. And just also how Fluttershy felt, like just so oblivious of what, you know, her animals are actually thinking and doing around here. Just kind of, da-da, life is great. While in the background, you know, Megara is like plotting her death and revenge on Angel Bunny, and Fluttershy's just kind of, oh, things are wonderful. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. So I got a really big kick out of it.
Sweet.
Yeah. Third story is Second Son by Carabas, which is, I described it as, it's kind of a familiar trope. It's the whole idea of, you know, personality being split in half. In this case, it's sort of the self that you present to everybody, and the other half is, you know, what you actually think and what you actually feel. Like, you know, if somebody's boring your ear off, and for whatever reason you can't just tell them to saw it off, you'll be really polite and friendly to them and whatnot, and your inner self is going, oh my god, stop boring my ear off, shut up, go away, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's the idea that Celestia gets Exactly! See, Pav gets it. The difference is that for Pav, he doesn't have those differentiations. It's just the one person. So it's really cool, because it's this interesting contrast of, like, you know, there's the Celestia she presents to people who just acts like normal Celestia, and then there's her inner thoughts, her just like, everyone can saw it off, I'm gonna go find a cute stallion and get drunk. And I mean, there's literally a scene where, like, she walks out, she slaps the guard on the ass, and then picks him up with a wing, tucks him under her wing, and just starts running away with this poor guard stuck under her wing. He's like, no, I don't know what to do. Or, like, they get into an argument at one point. Celestia and Luna are fighting, and there's this poor little maid who's got, like, a wine cart. And Celestia's going, give me the damn drink! And Luna's going, don't you dare! She's had enough! And this poor maid is just kind of having, like, a heart attack. Of just, I don't know who to listen to. They could
Your
both
princess
kill me.
demands it!
Yeah,
The good of
exactly.
Equestria! We need to make out right now!
You have to kiss her, the world's gonna end. What?
Now I'm just seeing the Royal Guard orientation. If someone touches you in a place or a way that you don't like, that's no good.
It's like their version of Hulk Hogan. Oh, jeez, that'd be perfect.
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my goodness. But no, I liked it because it didn't end up feeling like parody. Like, it actually did feel really true to Celestia. I mean, there's, you know, she's in the bar at one point, she's just kind of drinking, and she starts talking about, you know, how hard it is to be her, and how she doesn't regret the path she's chosen, but she acknowledges that it really is a struggle, you know, to kind of try and do the right thing, regardless of whether other people want you to do it or not. And I mean, like I said, one of my favorite lines in that is she says at one point, you know, I could have made the world take its medicine at the end of a lance. Just the idea that, you know, I could have brought peace through violence. I didn't, but I could. And whether or not that's the better choice.
And like you say, I mean, like this is, especially with like the princesses, these are kind of tropes that we tend to see. This kind of like, oh, what I really look like beneath the mask, and the thoughts that I can't publicly display. But a lot of times that just kind of falls into angst and doesn't really go anywhere. So in a fic like this, where it sounds like it's doing a little bit more with it and taking a more straight approach with it.
Oh, definitely. And that was the thing I loved, was that it really did manage to actually make it feel genuine without, making it too mawkish and just, oh, woe is me, I'm so maudlin and pathetic. And it really did feel like, no, this is actually Celestia. This is her going, like, shit sucks, but I chose this route. I am okay with that choice. Like, it sucks, but I'm doing it, and I think it's the right thing to do. And I'm okay with that, which I thought was really impressive. Like, she never feels like she's trying to run away from her decisions. Like, she never feels like she's trying to justify her actions, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have done this or I shouldn't have done that. She's just kind of going, this is what I chose, and this is what happened. I can't change the past. All I can do is keep moving forward. Which I really liked. Like, it really does feel like she, again, she owns up to her problems and her responsibilities. And then dead silence.
Yeah, apparently someone thought that was funny. C-Squared, was that you?
What?
You
Are you mocking me?
C-Squared is not being a jerk.
It's cool in the story because it's supposed to be that it only lasts until sundown, and that it turns out, well, oh my god, crazy alicorn powers, it's not really designed for that. So that's why they have to call in the elements. And I mean, even then, like, the opposing Celestia is like, no, just like, I've got until sundown, leave me alone, let me have my fun. And even when they tell her, well, that's not the case, you're kind of, it's going to end badly if you don't change back soon, she's kind of, well, I really don't want to accept that. Like, no offense, but if we go back, I'm never going to go. I believe she describes it as, I'll never have a chance to speak again. Because we'll always just end up doing what you want, what makes everybody happy. There's a really good scene where the ambassador for Caprica shows up, and they're run by a sentient magical crown. And she basically gives them this scathing letter. I guess they're threatening some country. And she just says, leave. Get away from them now, or I will come there with 4 legions and destroy your country. I will take you and melt you down for scrap, and then repurpose you into something that will make lonely mares happy. And stallions too, let's be fair. She says the result of it, I believe, is something like, they have retreated so far, they are now invading the other side of their country, just about.
Not pulling any punches there.
No, I was quite impressed.
Oh, boy.
Oh, dear.
So how about that last one, then?
I don't think either of the people who read it are here, because Sock jumped out on us because
that is right.
Real friends.
Yeah. Okay. So, regrettably, we do not have someone to cover the 4th fic, but looking from the comments here, it looks pretty good. So you will just have to read it yourself. That's your homework, dear viewers, is that you need to read the 4th fic to find
Written
out.
by Hoop Full of Dust, which should be recommendation enough. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it's apparently a very beautiful story.
All right. Well, in light of that,
We should start harassing Pasco.
we should. Hey, Pasco.
Pasco!
Hey.
Well, hey there. Well, to be fair, I've been harassing myself for about 20 minutes now.
Oh, good.
What's this about harassing Pasco, and how do I get in?
Well, you just joined, so...
Yeah! Welcome to me.
Just send a self-addressed stamped envelope.
Yeah, I'll do that right away.
So for the people out there who aren't familiar with you and your works, Pasco, why don't you give us the sample rundown? What's your CV?
My CV.
Your
Well,
modus operandi, if you will.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about what's left at the crime scene.
Oh, that's all been taken care of already.
Yeah.
It's
I know people in the right places.
Oh, good.
Well, I wandered in somewhere between seasons 1 and 2 and had never written any fan fiction before, and somehow lucked into writing an acceptably decent one my first time. The next two didn't go so well, but good thing that first one did, or I might have been discouraged right off the bat. So, yeah, I hung around Pony-chan for a long time and learned a lot, and that's where it goes from. I tend to write sad stories, and I tend to write short stories.
No wonder you like the write-offs so much.
So yeah, I mean, I know that you're heavily involved with the write-offs, but you joined after season 1. You said that you didn't do any writing before, and now, at least of the fics that are published on your FimFic account, so this doesn't include anything that's not been published and was done for a write-off and you haven't converted it yet, you have 39 published stories on your account, and you've got, you know, the family with a kid, you've got all of your responsibilities with EQD. What is the secret? What is this untapped fountain of word, and how do I steal it from you?
The secret is not having any other kind of life, so that I can just spend the entire evening sitting in front of the TV and picking fics out of EQD's queue.
I'm claiming that it's blood sacrifice. He keeps telling us that, but I'm not buying it.
And then once that queue gets down to a manageable level, once in a while I actually spend some time to do writing.
Every once, at least 39 times, yeah.
So you're basically telling me that it's because of the queue that you don't write? I can fix that.
Uh-oh.
We can just, lock you out of the queue so you write more.
Here we go.
If you had not been an EQD pre-reader and you had not spent all the time reading fics in the queue, approximately how many extra stories would be published on your account as a result?
Tell us.
I don't know that I would have written any more than I did, but I do have a whole bunch of unpublished ones from old write-offs that are still in my to-do list to revise, so a lot of those would probably be published now.
Fair enough, fair enough. So then, EQD. So I mean, you was that a result of hanging around the back in Pony-chan back in the days, or how'd you make those connections?
That was definitely from Pony-chan. It wasn't. I was kind of the last of a string of people who came over to EQD from Pony-chan. I know Snarkle used to hang around there, and then people like Cassius went over. Trying to remember who else. XLIII, of course, our illustrious leader.
He disappears for 8 months at a time and then just turns up and says, "Hello! Oh my god, there are a lot of people in the group. Bye again."
Hey everybody, I'm back. You guys are still doing this? What the hell?
Pretty much.
Coincidentally, he showed up not in the pre-reader Skype chat, but in the FIC IRC on a night that just by chance Cassius had happened to go in there too for the first time in about 6 months. Just both there at the same night. Now we did not know it was XLIII at the time, so whoever it was using an anonymous name and obviously knew who we were, and we were taking bets as to who it was.
I remember
Who got the most bets, or which name got the most
I was
bets?
going to say.
Cassius actually called him as XLIII. I thought it was going to turn out to be Kim, and I don't know that many of you will know who Kim is.
I think.
Nope.
Pav's probably the only person who might even know.
No, I don't think so.
Do you remember Kinsley?
Oh, Kinsley. Okay, yeah.
Okay, and Kim was also one of those really old, very first Pony-chan people.
Okay, yeah.
He was an instigator of much drama.
Oh, the old Pony-chan drama. Like no one even, probably anyone watching this video, because like the fic community on Pony-chan has been dead for a while. I mean, we've got a little bit over on like MLP-chan, and a lot of the community that used to be there moved over to like the Write-Off Association or a couple of groups on FimFic. Probably like most people nowadays are just like Pony-chan. What the hell are you, like, at least for fan fiction, what the hell are you guys talking about?
Yeah, there's really only 2 active threads in FIC anymore. The Training Grounds is still going, miraculously enough.
Wow.
Really?
I thought it died off a while ago.
Well, it got to the point where we were only getting one request for a review maybe every 1 or 2 weeks, but there was a little bit of a jump in traffic a couple weeks ago where they got about 4. Which, yeah, 4 sounds like a big deal. I remember when we used to get about 5 or 6 a day.
Yeah,
I remember those days.
back in the day, for all you youngins out there, the Pony-chan fic boards used to be this really huge community for fan fiction writers, mostly before fanfic.net was even established.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that was where we went for like discussion, camaraderie, reviews. We had this big review thread, which I guess you would call that like the precursor for Write or something like that. But kind of like take a penny, give a penny of author reviews, and like a giant Excel spreadsheet queue for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I must admit, my time spent in fic was limited. I spent a fair amount of time lurking, but I think the only time I actually commented, I got yelled at by detritus. So.
See how that wouldn't be encouraging.
Yeah. Oh dear. I can't
Read the goddamn sticky.
Yeah. Oh dear. But no, it's kind of sad the way that the Pony-chan Fix board's gone. Like, there was an awful lot of good stuff that went on there, and it's just sort of, is it just that it's moved away to other places like Write or the write-off groups, or has it just sort of like scattered, like faded away?
Well, it's a couple of things. Yeah, some of the people moved over to different places, and some of it, that activity just doesn't go on anymore. I mean, we don't see a lot of people coming to Write to request reviews much anymore either. There's just not that much of a focus anymore in the author community of trying to improve, or at least from these centralized locations to do so.
That I will agree with. I think saying that authors aren't trying to improve is unfair. There are a heck of a lot of reviewing groups out there. I mean, I still regularly get contacts from people saying, I want to find reviewing, what do I do, where do I go? But to say that, well, because we're not getting as much at Write anymore, that clearly means that nobody's interested, that people aren't as interested in improving anymore, I think is really unfair.
I think it's more the fact that people are more interested in getting reviews from groups like, say, the Pleasant Commentator and Review Group, where
because they know they'll get something. It'll be all positive feedback, basically.
Well, it's less likely to absolutely destroy their self-esteem, and it's going to be shorter and quicker to produce. It's like, wait a couple of days for something cheap and easy. It's the McDonald's of the review community, really.
Yeah, that's a decent way to put it, I think.
That's terrible.
Sounds about right.
But that's an interesting question then, because like back in the day when the Pony-chan boards were super active, when the training grounds, which again that's the huge take a penny give a penny review board system that we had for reviews, when a EQD rejection would come around, they would say, look, this doesn't meet our standards. They'd list off a couple of bullet points, and then they would say, go over here, go to Pony-chan, go to the training grounds. Like, that was their de facto recommendation point. So does EQD still have a recommendation point anymore, or like where do they send people?
The document we send out does include links to a few reviewing groups, and the training grounds is still included as one of those. And I know Write is as well. I think there are a couple others, but I haven't looked at the document recently, so I don't know which ones. But we do recommend people go there.
We try to keep it updated to like what groups that are regularly working and such. But it's not always the most accurate, but it does have a link to a couple of major reviewing groups. And the thing I'll tell people is, go into the groups function on FinFic and search editing or reviewing, and you'll get, a page or two of groups you can try and throw your hat in.
Fair enough.
And that's probably something else that killed Pony-chan too, is it really was that give a penny, take a penny mentality. It's that you came and dropped off your story, and while you were waiting for a review to be done, you might pick up one or two of your own and help somebody else out. And if you found you enjoyed that and you were good at it, then you stuck around. And even after your story was finished, you'd help out some more authors. And it really went down to a trickle to where people weren't willing to stick around anymore.
Which is sad because I mean, like that's how I got involved in reviewing. That's how I met a bunch of people. GAP Jaxie from earlier in our review, Alex Magnet. That's how like Alex Magnet and Casca and a couple of the other original members of Seattle's Angels, like all the not every single one, but a majority of the people did get handpicked by Seattle Light from the FIC board. So I mean, it really was this great positive community and very pro improvement, pro reviewing. So it is kind of sad that like there have been new groups that have come to replace the training ground. Like Wright does similar functions, and there's some other groups that do editing and stuff like that. But there isn't really this centric community.
It's interesting how groups like Authors Helping Authors do that give a penny, take a penny sort of thing, where the idea is you submit your story for review, and when you get a review, you have to review someone else. So it's just like a big circle of people reviewing each other.
This is just making me wonder, why isn't the training ground sort of transitioned over to FinFic that created their own group and do the take a penny, leave a penny thing there?
That's a fair question.
Because really it just seems like a group could serve the same function as a thread with its own sort of sub-threads.
That would be a lot more visible.
I'm trying to, because I think this argument happened at some point in the past, so I'm putting words in people's mouths, but if I recall correctly, we didn't want to move the community because like the community wasn't that big, and we were worried if we tried to move to a different location that the community would fracture, which technically happened with the MLP Chan move, and I'm not going to linger on that too much. But so, we didn't want to fragment the community, and then, like, even though it was occurring on PonyChan, like, the meat and potatoes of the review system was just this basic, GDoc, or G spreadsheet, or whatever you call those things. Just a spreadsheet for keeping track of, what fics have been claimed, which had not. So it's like, the spreadsheet was what was important, whether you were getting to the spreadsheet from PonyChan or from FinFic didn't really matter, but yeah, it is a little strange that that they didn't at least establish any sort of presence on FinFic.
Is it just a matter of culture? Like people have just moved away from.
Well, if it was a matter of culture,
you expect on PonyChan.
If it was a matter of culture, I suspect the write-off group would be nowhere near as like FIC heavy as it is, because let's face it, the write-off group, the majority of the big hitters are either something to do with FIC or wouldn't have been out of place if they'd joined FIC,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, do we have any questions from the chat? Let's have a look. We have a lot of debating over whether or not Midnight Radio Hotline's face is a question, apparently. It's
an important question.
It is an important question, absolutely. No, they're all just arguing about it. Dosso says there is a FIC group, apparently.
Yeah, one was set up, but mostly it was as a reference to send people to PonyChan.
Right.
I used to be part of that group, and then I realized it kind of disappeared for a while.
Mm.
Like I would see in my feed stories being updated and posted to the group, but the group itself isn't accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Dosu asks, "What is fan fiction?"
Baby, don't hurt me.
Edit me. Don't edit me no more.
Oh, God damn it.
Pretty much.
Tell Dosu that fan fiction is whatever it is he's been writing.
Boom.
In the meantime, we do have a drawing of a squirrel riding a helicopterian going on.
OP delivered. Wow.
Apparently so. Friendly reminder to everyone in the Skype chat, please, for the love of God, don't just marvel over the squirrel helicopterian picture. Do ask questions, yes?
I mean, ask a question and marvel over it, because that's pretty gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to...
We have Pasco here. He is quite talkative when he's not being bitter and cynical.
Which never happened.
Absolutely. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm scared.
No, that's Pasco.
Yes, I'm scared by the number of authors who actually have their lives sorted out in a way that is quite frightening to me. Like Rainbow Bob got married last year. and has adopted
Yes,
a
but
dog.
wasn't he in the hospital for being shot right before he got married?
No,
Car
he was in,
crash.
he was in a hospital because he was in a car crash recently. He was in a hospital before he got married because he was in a bar fight and got hit with a hammer.
Yeah. So I feel like saying his life is sorted out is maybe not the best description. Like, I love Bob, but seriously,
His
a
life
bar
is
fight
sorted
and a
I think
hammer?
what Plum is trying to say is that Bob has a life outside of pony fiction.
Yeah, his life is sorted out by Florida standards, right?
You have to remember, I'm from Canada. We have, higher levels than you guys.
High levels of what?
That is true. That is
Bar
true.
fights lacking hammers.
Yeah,
They just use hockey sticks.
Pretty much.
yeah, pretty
And
much.
pucks.
Yeah, you'd beat yourselves into pulps, and then you'd have a drink over it.
No,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
no,
sure.
no.
That's Scotland.
Oh yeah, that's Scotland. Anyway.
The entire notion of a Canadian bar fight is, someone looking at someone's girl, and then you want to go? You want to go? No, sorry. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Sorry.
You want to go play hockey?
Totally. Do you have goalie pads? Sweet.
Oh dear.
Somebody
oh,
has goalie
God,
pads,
yeah.
they have made friends for life.
I've got to say, that would probably be the most dangerous job in the entire of Canada, to be the goalie in a hockey game. I would, oh my lord.
There's a
Pads
reason
are
that
not
they
going
wear
to
a
save
lot of
you.
heavy padding.
Pads are not going to save you from a Canadian hockey team. Good God.
Oh, it depends.
Yeah.
That's probably the only person in Canada who can legally assert a stand your ground defense.
Oh yeah, unquestionably. Mostly it comes down to why on earth would you bother pissing off the goalie? Because goalie equipment is friggin' expensive because of how much of it they have. So it's literally like, if you're a goalie, everybody loves you. You can be the biggest jerk on the planet, but you have goalie pads. You're fine.
The obvious solution is just not be on the rink.
Why the hell does... Why does Dosso ask questions in the FimFiction thread and nowhere else? Because he asked a question 12 minutes
Because
ago.
we say you can ask your questions anywhere, so now we're revealing that was a great big lie this entire time.
I'm going to have to check the Tumblr to check that people haven't been asking us questions through that or something stupid. They've been sending us messenger pigeons, and I've got my window closed. That's why we're not getting any. His
Because
question...
they love watching you complain and freak out, Plum.
Absolutely. His question from 13 minutes ago was, if you had to give a list, not a list, of the greatest...
I can give a list.
I don't think I can do twist well enough, sorry.
If you had to give a list of the great brackets-ist non-fic literature, what would it be? Non-fic literature. So I'm assuming you mean like non-fan fiction.
Or does he mean non-fiction?
Oh, great.
Non-fic.
Well,
So original fiction.
literature. So the dictionary.
Terry Pratchett.
Yeah, Terry Pratchett. Absolutely.
Unquestionably.
Dan Abnett is also very good. I'm going to say this because I know Stockwood and he's not here. Dan Abnett's Gaunt's Go series is fucking spectacular, even if you're not into 40k. So
Paulo Coelho is my favorite author. So
who is there?
Paulo Coelho. He wrote The Alchemist. Veronica decides to die.
Right. I think I've read.
Here's a question we can all answer.
Oh god.
What previous fandoms have we all written for?
I
None.
wrote for all of
None.
them.
I've not even written for this one.
I wrote for all of them.
Oh dear. Arch is going on about his Futurama fanfiction, and I would actually be interested in seeing that.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Pasco, is this your first fandom that you've written stuff for? Or?
Yes, it is, in fact. Though, man, I was sorely tempted by the gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Everybody has been, Pasco.
I know.
Fanfiction.
The natural feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a thing, Bob.
Let's be honest. Wrestling is basically written by fanfiction authors at this point anyway.
Pretty much. I mean, that's kind of a genuine, if you can make it in fanfic, you can probably make it in wrestling.
Yeah. Wasn't there a big thing like on Twitter where one of the most popular hashtags in the world was cancel the WWE because everyone hated the writing of something. Like
The Royal
someone
Rumble.
won and it was bullshit. Yeah. Someone won and it was bullshit.
Hey, I don't even watch wrestling, and I thought.
I don't either. I have no idea.
Used to be.
Oh dear.
But I
Friggin'
can
Daniel
see it.
Bryan getting eliminated like 5 minutes after he gets into the match.
Here we go.
Here we go.
I say we'll go somewhere else, and you guys can sit and talk about big sweaty men grabbing each other.
Well, no, hang on. Okay, so what we,
Let's not get hasty here.
but no, I mean, this is the first fandom that I've written for, but I mean, I've done at least one crossover, and technically I have a second crossover in the works, but it's a secret. But so yeah, I mean, you know, technically, I mean, I've gotten into other fandoms by nature of doing crossovers, but that kind of doesn't count because I mean, it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's really about being a pony fanfic. So, I don't know.
Oh god. Arch is reminding himself that he's old again. Like earlier he was talking about oh god, what was it? Was a movie that came out, Independence Day, and it came out in 1996, which is
Damn.
19 years ago.
Oh!
Yeah. I was
Yes.
3 years old at that point.
What?
What?
What? You were 3?
In 1996, yeah.
Oh my god! I'm
Infant.
surrounded by babies.
It's like you're younger than
I
me.
was 4.
Oh dear.
Don't worry, Pav. You, me, and Pasco can all be old together. Pasco can
1996.
play when we're not
Wow.
old enough.
1996, I turned 21.
Okay, I'm 21.
Yeah.
I'm 21 at the moment, so
Now I feel a little bit better.
yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh dear.
Oh God,
Alright.
Dusso's actually asked the question in the Skype chat for once. He's in the
You
podcast.
shamed him into it.
He's upgrading. He's upgrading.
Why is
Yeah.
Slice of Life so popular? Common and popular.
Is
Because
it
Fanfic doesn't have a normal tag, so no one knows what else to set their stories to.
I would broaden that, and I would just say that the tagging system sucks because we have, like, I broke this down at one point, but we've got like things like sex and gore, which are trigger warnings. We've got anthro, which is technically a tag, but it's more of a trigger warning.
Which shouldn't even be on this website.
We've got things
Pav,
like
shut up. This is not Tumblr. No need to talk about trigger warning.
It
for
might
God's
as
sake.
well be.
you know, my mother was killed by Tumblr, so I find your comment very offensive.
That's okay. I found your mother offensive too.
Everybody duck, the shots flying everywhere.
Where were you when Pav got burned?
When Pat was killed.
That's that January day.
When Ferret stopped filtering what she said.
Okay, Pasco, you'll be pleased to know that Arconix is no longer feeling old. Thank you for that.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad I could perform that community service.
It was an important service.
Alrighty. Pav, you were saying about the tagging system.
Yeah. So sad. Sad is like a predicted, like, go into a Barnes and Noble. Try to find a Barnes and Nobles. Go into a Barnes and Nobles and ask them where the sad section is. ask
I
them
feel
where
like asking them where any section
They'll point you.
is.
They'll point you to the
Wow.
self-publishing section.
But I mean, it's like all the tags. They're a mixture between Tumblr style trigger warnings, advisories about the mood. Like random is a bullshit tag. Like, I mean, none of these tags like really make sense. So, I mean, there's been a talk for ages and ages about trying to like adopt more genre of literature style tags. So you know, like a drama, mystery, you know, like the tags that were more common.
It has led to a lot of gaming where people, you know, basically try to maximize their readership by applying said tags, not really matching it up to the content. Because they know, the tags are what people use to search for stories.
I just want a goddamn science fiction tag, because then I can subscribe to that tag and I will be happy.
Yeah, why don't we have science fiction tags?
I think what
on
when Nighty made that one blog post that hit the bucket, that he was saying he made that one blog post that got deleted a while back about being able to non-porn, but anyway, he was saying that when film fiction becomes general fiction, or when we get new tags,
Oh, the
that's
one
when the
everyone
overhaul is
freaked
going
out
to
about.
happen.
Well, I was aware of the let's step back for people who aren't aware of that. So 90 is planning at a date to be determined, but he's going
Well, in
to.
the future.
We will still have filmfiction.net, but it will be like a pony-themed cover, and he's going to open the site up for general fiction as well. So I was aware of that. We don't know that yet.
That I heard is that
It's going to be on the same way.
tagging system overhaul is going to happen.
Okay.
And we will get tags like horror, mystery, adventure, actual tags.
Interesting.
But then we will get these subgenres of like sad, dark, that can also be applied.
Okay.
I think what he was teasing was 3 main genre tags and then the 3 subgenre tags.
I find this pleasing.
Did you say that ponyfic and non-ponyfic are going to be on the same site?
They're going to use the same system, but they won't be. Imagines like states in a country.
So you will be able to go to 90fiction.com, and you will still have your account there. You'll be able to publish original fiction or like general fiction. I guess you can probably do fan fiction as well. It's not really clear, but you can do just whatever you want, uploading the same system. Your pony stuff will show up there. Probably, if you're a pony hater, you can filter that stuff away. But then you can still go to filmfiction.net, which will then just show you just the pony subsection of that stuff.
There are also fandom tags. So like,
okay,
you can so like you can apply your story to. You can apply your story to the pony, to Doctor Who, to whatever, and it'll get its own tag.
So basically, FimFic will be like a sub forum of a more general site.
Basically.
Yeah. I have a theory that this is all going to come out on April 1st, and every single story published is going to be Naruto X One Piece. And then the next day, the rest of the site will have gone, and it'll just be back to filmfiction.net again. It's just one elaborate, extremely long April Fool's joke. That's all it is.
I sincerely hope that we get more like moderators and story provers that are centered on their respective fandoms.
Right.
Yeah, because like at the moment, everything's focused around film fiction because it's ponies. Like stories won't get on if they're insufficient pony enough. So I'm wondering how they're going to judge that for other fandoms. Like, how does one judge when it's insufficiently Naruto? Does it have to?
You get a story prover who is like Naruto.
That's the problem. You need your staff to be, representing every single fandom in the universe. Then,
even in film fiction, like a lot of the times there's arguments over whether something is pony enough. Like one obvious example would be Red Thrush Private School, which got approved and later taken down. So I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work, if it's actually going to happen, because 90 promising updates.
When's the mobile app coming out again?
We got Bookshelf. When did he promise them? Like 2 years ago or something like that.
You were in the pre-reader chat. You also got to see Nighty getting heavily distracted by creating like customizable avatars and stuff for the bookshelves that basically turned into like Pony Creator 3.0. It was only like portraits.
See,
for months now, I've been constantly bugging Nighty to fix a single button on the site, which he still hasn't done.
Oh, you should tell me, Pascal. We'll harass him.
I'll harass him as well. I've got him on Skype.
Please.
Nighty seems to hate me slightly less than most people, so he'll actually occasionally listen to me.
You should
just
the source code for FimFic, so we can all make our own little FimFics.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a good idea.
Oh, that sounds brilliant. Why don't you go beat up Zach for that?
Yeah, Seattle's fiction. Here we go.
What I think people are looking forward to
all the time.
If this site does go to general fiction, then presumably anybody who's written a crossover will want it filed over under both properties.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all of the Doctor Who fandom is just looking forward to seeing all these Doctor Who's fics come in.
Oh, boy.
I'm looking forward to it because I hate Doctor
They don't
Who.
know what they're in for.
I just
Yeah, I know a couple of Whovians who really like the pony stuff.
Oh,
I've actually talked to one who said, "I'm not a brony, but I really like the Doctor Who stuff you guys come up with."
Jesus Christ.
Not a brony, though. Not a brony in any way whatsoever.
Well, he said, like, he doesn't like the show. He doesn't like anything about the ponies except the Doctor Who stuff. That he thinks
Doctor
is
Who is all
brilliant.
about the ponies. You can't have Doctor Who's without him interacting with the ponies.
Yes, well, apparently you
Kinda
can.
The BBC show is going to end. What was that show? Playing Elsewhere. It's going to zoom out, and there's going to be this snow globe, and there's going to be this little colt holding the snow globe, and it was all in a pony's imagination.
Please do not bring Snowdrop into this.
It's gonna be it's gonna be like Foster's Home for Imaginary Children, that comic strip with the snow.
That I'm okay with.
Oh dear! No, we should create seattlesfiction.net and then only show up once every 9 months.
And then we will get a bunch of people from Seattle writing their own crappy stories about their lives.
Yeah.
Finally, a site for people who want to write stories about the great city of Seattle. I'm so glad that someone finally. Oh God.
So they'll be
We'll
so
hire a
happy
couple
we'll
of
take them off
actors.
fanfiction.net.
We'll hire, say, Fred Brownstein and Carrie Amison and call it Seattlandia.
Oh my gosh, guys. According to the amazing and powerful Jaxie, there is more Bioshock MLP crossover fanfiction on Fimfic than there is Bioshock fanfiction on all of fanfiction.net.
As it should be.
Yeah, I'm unsurprised by this.
I'm slightly surprised, because it seems like a verse that people would love to play in, but that's still funny.
Well, fanfic.net is basically like.
Well, to be fair, Bioshock is pretty complicated to do.
I think it's less to do with Bioshock being complicated, more the fact that the average age of a fanfiction.net user is like 12, and they don't particularly play Bioshock an awful lot.
Yeah.
So. What's the number of Call of Duty fanfictions on fanfic.net?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
Fanfiction.
Don't bring that up.
Call of Duty fanfic.
That and Halo.
I'd be curious about Fallout, because we've kind of stolen Fallout.
I was going to say, Fallout, I could see us outnumbering.
I've heard an awful lot of stuff about the Fallout fan community growing increasingly hostile towards ponies because of Fallout Equestria.
I was going to say, and certainly, like, Fallout Equestria does have its own kind of site and stuff that we will often cross-post from.
Okay,
Really, Fallout Equestria really could have just dropped the Fallout namesake, and it wouldn't be any worse for wear.
Yeah, but at this point, it's a little late to start.
So I am looking at
That doesn't mean you
fanfic.net.
can't try for it.
I'm not looking at crossovers. I'm just looking at pure fanfics. Fallout has 4.6 thousand Fallout fanfics, so that is significant. That'll take us quite a while to catch up on.
See, how many of those are going to be Fallout Equestria, though?
Yeah.
No, I'm looking at not crossovers. I think that's all. That's 4.6.
Okay, yeah, we have 931 apparently.
Yeah. Call of Duty 2,200.
I was expecting a lot more than that.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked there's less.
To be fair, a crossover implies that there's a story to begin with.
Oh yeah, it's not just Master Chief meets the Vonies.
And then they have fun and shoot
That's the
stuff.
extent of the plot line.
That's still technically a plot line in the loosest sense of the word.
A plot dash. Yeah.
Yes. A plot concept.
Was it a plot bunny? Is that the word? Oh dear.
No, plot bunny to me implies like that more could come of it.
True. Jesus Christ.
Oh goodness.
What are you looking up now, Pav? Are you continuing to look at more fan fiction?
Have you gotten something to know the fanfiction?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at fanfiction. Yeah.
Pat,
See,
be careful, your glasses are reflecting. And it's very pink.
Hey, now, pink is a great color.
It's a wonderful color.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in the reflection there, I could read Two Broke Girls fan fictions.
Your secret shame has been unleashed.
I know that was a joke, but I need to look now.
Report it back to us, Pav. We need to know.
Oh, the one time I did wander onto fanfiction.net, I did have fun looking down all of the list of properties to see how many and which ones only had one fanfic in them.
Oh, God.
We have 375 Sonic crossovers, apparently.
Only
And
375?
none of them are as
No
good
way,
as
I'm not using the
Snorkels.
crossover tag.
Right.
Television shows.
160.
Two Broke Girls. 119 fanfics.
Oh,
Wow.
About Two Broke Girls.
Are they all by the same person?
Fanfic,
I
maybe.
was
One of
going
them
to
is
say,
in
how many are
Korean.
original? What?
What?
Yeah, one of them's in Korean.
Of course.
Wow.
Two Broke
Man,
Girls has a massive
fanfiction.net is more
following in
diverse
Korea.
than we are.
Two Broke Girls and a Baby. Two
I'm
Broke
surprised
Girls
that
and a
people
New
can
Year's
deal with
Party.
that awful functionality.
Two
Hold
Broke
on,
Girls in the morning after.
Well, I
Oh,
have,
God.
Oh,
I have a
yum.
quick question. Is
Go on,
there,
then.
is there, you know, like how there's like Rule 34 for like if it exists there is porn of it. Is there a rule for like if it exists there is fan fiction of it? I'm actually curious
Probably.
about that. Does anybody know if
know.
there's an actual
See.
number for that?
No,
Let's go.
I think it's one of those that make it up.
And search for fanfic.
375 Sonic crossovers is 376 too many, says Art.
Okay, so apparently, okay, Core, apparently the only rules for fanfic of the internet are a crossover, even an implorable one, will eventually happen in fan art, fanfic, or official release material.
Mhm.
And another which says, unless it is in the fanfic, my immortal.
Unless it is what?
In My Immortal, the
I am
fanfic.
Oh.
So now I'm looking at crossovers. Two Broke Girls has 4 crossovers with Thor.
Well, yeah, they've got to call for a plumber eventually, and come on, are all plumbers supposed to look like that? Has
Well,
porn nothing?
yeah, plumbers look like Thor, but with a little bit more visible ass
See,
crack.
no, this makes sense because two broke girls find a guy who makes it rain.
You're a horrible person.
God damn it,
Get
man.
out of here.
I'm not as horrible as someone who's writing Two Broke Girls crossover fanfiction. Sorry.
Damn close.
There's no Two Broke Girls in Ponyfic, so Alex, we need to get Alex on this. He needs to write a Two Broke Girls crossover.
Well, no, last I heard he was busy analyzing Japanese films that were just insane.
Oh,
Some
God.
film called The
Sounds
House
like a
that...
miserable excuse. He needs to write crossovers.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
The Two Broke Girls are Pinky and Maud, somehow. I don't know. I hope they're
That probably makes
referenced.
sense, actually.
What'd
Unless
you
you
say?
go into background ponies.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
I've seen that, and it usually trails along for a bit until they go, wait, Minecraft has no plot. Crap. Now
much
what do I
Minecraft-
do?
How much
Because
Minecraft
describing
fanfiction
building a giant tower is not very interesting.
Apparently, we have 109 stories that have Minecraft fanfiction on them. So
I'm surprised it isn't more, because I've seen a fair few Minecraft fanfictions around the site.
Yeah,
Like-
we've gotten a few submitted to Equestria Daily.
Yeah.
have you denied them?
In short
Oh,
order.
of course.
Okay.
Were there any that like got
We
close
basically, we sip some tea and laugh dismissively and then throw the dogs at them.
Were there any that got even close to being like?
I'm fairly sure.
No, nothing close, but I mean that was due to writing quality, not subject matter.
Yeah.
Although this does tie into a question, I'm skimming over the chat here, and there's a question that jumps out, and possibly because EQD gets its fair share of the first wave of these things, I'd be curious. What is the worst property to cross over with ponies?
Oh, Lord.
I have a hard time remembering all the ones that were crossed over just because they don't stand out in my mind.
Yeah, there are a lot.
I really, really want to say Sonic, but there's that one. There was that one fanfiction with the
Yeah.
Twilight
Eggman.
Sparkle.
Eggman.
I know the one you mean. Yeah.
Did Snarkle write that?
Yep.
Yeah, Snarkle's wrote a series of them.
Yeah.
And then he ate a comic book.
What are we talking about?
So thanks a lot,
Twilight
Snarkle.
Snarkles,
Because of you, I can't say Sonic.
Sonic crossover, and how at one point, when he'd only written the first one, he bet people that it couldn't either hit the feature box or get enough views or likes or something, and he said he would eat a comic book if it did, and it did, and he ate a comic book.
Nice.
Incidentally, he brought girl comic book.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Snarkle. Because of you, we can't say Sonic.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to say One Piece, but that's generally because I hate One Piece. So.
Oh, I'm with you there.
What about Naruto?
Oh god.
Naruto was good. It's just it's too much fluff. Nothing happens.
I watched it for probably 2 years.
A Naruto fanfic, you must explicitly describe in words how they run in the show. That's how you know that it's Naruto enough.
The
Their elbows straight to the side.
I mean, by run, you mean skip.
Okay, we'll do a double crossover here. Dr. Hooves reared up on his rear legs, and he ran forward with his forehooves dangling down as if he had slept on them too long.
I will agree to that.
Trotted real fast over there.
Oh god.
Doctor Who.
You gotta go fast.
You gotta go fast. You've got to live up to full life consequences, as they say. Oh god.
How did that not hurt you to say it?
That question.
I have to kill fast and bullet too slow. Oh my god. Fantastic.
Zombie ghosts, leave this place.
Going back to the original question, I'd have to say for me, something inappropriate to cross pony with is just kind of, I don't think there's anything really that you could say is a bad idea to cross over, but certainly there are lots that, if you pick it, it's going to make it a lot more difficult, like, Call of Duty or like Dishonored or Bioshock or whatever.
I actually came up with an idea for a Dishonored adaptation.
Yeah?
Yes.
Well, like, stuff like that can work. It's just you're really you're sort of fighting your way uphill, choosing stuff like that, because you're basically going against the nature of the show.
It's not necessary. It also depends on how much of a crossover and how much of an adaptation it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what are you implementing from the crossover?
Yeah, the thing is with Bioshock and Dishonored and stuff like that is they actually have stories with it. Like I said it before, I'm not just doing this for the sake of hyperbole. Call of Duty doesn't really have a story to cross over other than Russia invades America.
Again.
And all of Europe at the same time. That's literally you can't really do much pony related unless you want Russia to be made out of ponies or something,
Hey.
And even then, it's like the only canonical fighting we've seen on the show was done with pies.
Well,
and also Changeling Invasion.
Yeah, the Changeling Invasion.
And lasers.
I have no objection to violence in ponyfics so long as it makes sense. So.
And that's the thing, is it can totally make sense. It's just, again, if you're basically going for something that is sort of the antithesis of the show, it's going to be a heck of a lot harder to pull off.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
so many people, when they do violence in a ponyfic, they don't really adapt it to the pony world. They just say, and then suddenly the ponies were okay with murder, and they started murdering each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it's just really heavy-handed, and it's just kind of, have you even ever had a paper cut?
See,
Fluttershy had a paper cut.
Danger.
Fluttershy had a heart attack.
It was awful.
Oh god.
There was so much blood.
Oh Jesus.
Someone link that in chat.
Deja says Spyro is the worst thing to cross over with pony. I disagree. They've both got purple dragons. Have Spike to be Spyro. Do that.
Don't they both
shoot green flame? They've both got, the really toony universe.
Yeah.
Even before Spike is actually Spyro with amnesia.
What about Crash Bandicoot?
What would a Crash Bandicoot crossover be? Like Pinkie Pie twirling around and jumping on boxes and kicking things.
And the villain getting really annoyed at her or something.
Boxes full of apples. So there is.
So I mean, AJ could he's stolen all her product or something.
Yes.
quick. Where's Alex?
Yeah, dear.
So I need to stop here because I can understand how. So like Ferret's point was that it would be difficult for you to cross over with certain genre, like a BioShock, like a Call of Duty. Not impossible, but more difficult.
Yeah.
And conceptually, I understand that. However, then like what is something that is easy to cross over, and what makes it easy? Because the reason I'm getting hung up on this is like it seems like if you are doing a crossover and you want to do a crossover well, like you do need to understand the characters and the stories of both scenarios and understand how to properly mesh them and put a lot of work into it. So I'm wondering, like, is it simply because, like, what makes a crossover easier to do? Is it
another thing about that is that a lot of what you cross over with, like BioShock, Call of Duty, these are stories. But with like the pony, it's a whole universe you can put the story into.
I mean, like with BioShock, like this whole like rapture and
it's a universe where Russia has incredible power and the States is pathetic and useless.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to
everybody feels sorry for them.
And all of Europe is in one place, so you can just invade it all at once.
Yeah, that's totally a universe.
Absolutely, that makes sense. You'd think the things that would be easy to cross over with MLP, it would be
stuff that's similar to it.
Yeah, fuck off, name it.
I don't even want to know what that was.
That was my ringtone.
Did you forget to change it?
Torturing orphans?
No, my ringtone is "Oh Sausage."
Oh, okay.
So delightfully British.
Yeah. But no, you'd think that something easy to cross over would be stuff like, I don't know, Care Bears or something, because, kids shows, or SpongeBob, but I've yet to see a SpongeBob crossover done well.
Even Rainbow Bob has not delivered on a SpongeBob crossover.
Even Rainbow Bob.
That's how difficult it is.
Speaking of Ace Combat, I will be the first to say there is no good way to cross over Ace Combat with ponies.
Which seems baffling because
Pegasus. Say that, but I'm skeptical because I have seen some amazing things.
I've tried. Writing air-to-air combat is incredibly difficult.
Well, talk to
I still feel saying it's impossible is too far.
I have read 2 Ace Combat crossovers that came into a daily, and I will agree the combat was just sorely lacking.
Now, will you say that it's difficult to write pony aerial combat, or just aerial combat in general?
Pony aerial combat.
I think aerial combat in general
because if you try to limit to the technology, it becomes much more difficult. But if you're like giving the ponies guns, then you're just popping people out of the sky.
Yeah.
If you're trying to do it with like spears and they're running at each other and slamming armor up against each other, then it's difficult.
Then again, didn't I think this was Tactical Rainboom? He wrote a fic where Rainbow Dash strapped Twilight to her underbelly and they flew around, and like Twilight was shooting unicorn lasers at other things.
What?
Yeah.
I've read a fic where Twilight and Rainbow Dash are racing together, and it's like sitting on her like in a specially designed saddle and racing her.
Yeah, that was like Crackerjack. Wild, sweet, and cool.
Yeah, it's a really good fic. It's one of those like, wow, I read that how long ago?
It reminds me of this one picture that has Rainbow Dash dressed up as a gladiator, and she's on top of Applejack and charging the battle. It's just adorable.
I would say stuff that's easy to cross over with ponies is just stuff that has a similar sort of feel to it. So like Foster's Home, SpongeBob, stuff that has that similar toony feel to it.
So why haven't we seen good Foster's Home for imaginary kids?
Because they aren't interesting. Because they are so similar in concepts.
I think a lot of it could be that it's not really a challenge. It feels really easy, so a lot of people aren't interested in tackling it.
Well, also Foster's was not nearly as popular as ponies.
Yeah, no.
Not a lot of people.
Foster's is really a cult fic.
But that's an interesting point with the challenge. I mean, is that why one of the first big crossovers that this community saw was with Fallout?
That is a fair point, actually. The fact that it's, while it would be easy to cross over with, say, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, the fact that it's so similar in tone means that there's no real point to crossing it over unless you just want to have Blue do something in your story. Whereas you've got the really famous crossovers as stuff like Aquaman's Bioshock 1 or Stardust or...
Don't forget the not crossover
Yeah.
that is a crossover, which is it's dangerous business.
Yeah, which is just Tolkien.
Well,
so
see,
yeah,
the key with those stories is that they didn't necessarily cross over. They took elements from each and melded their own interesting new universe that people could play
I
around.
disagree.
Mm.
I completely
Oh,
disagree
yeah.
because Stardust is literally XCOM with ponies.
Yeah.
It's not
It
just
is.
taking
Well,
elements.
Stardust isn't even XCOM with ponies. Stardust is XCOM with Twilight.
It
Yeah.
started out as that, but then it slowly grew into like an adapting meld between the two.
Well,
it's like
has
awkward middle
Stardust,
ground.
has Stardust spawned the same kind of interest that we saw in Fallout? Like, are people writing Stardust fics
Yeah,
or whatever? Are they?
yeah.
They
Yeah,
are.
I
absolutely.
never noticed.
I've seen a handful. But like,
Yeah, it's quite popular.
no crossover will ever be as popular as Fallout Equestria, but that's simply because Fallout Equestria's time and place. Like, no gore fic will ever be as famous as Cupcakes, even though there will be better gore fics than Cupcakes, without a doubt.
Oh God,
It-
yes.
Well,
Because
yeah,
that stuff all
unquestionably.
showed up in a vacuum. It
So
literally
the
showed
lesson,
up when there
the
was
lesson you're
nothing
saying
else
is
there.
that if you want to be successful, we have to go back in time to before
Oh,
it
yeah.
Basically.
happened and be the first.
I like that you brought up Foster's Home because the single crossover that I've written was Foster's Home.
Really?
Crossed over with.
It was a My Little Pony crossover.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, he did say he hasn't written before the Pony Fandom. Is it published on Finfic?
Yeah,
Like,
it's called Making Friends.
Oh yeah.
Right. I'll go check that out because I've not read that
I
then.
think that's one of the ones I looked at and went, I will sob uncontrollably. I don't think I should read this.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
Pasco's one of those authors who goes, "Hey Ferret, do you want to edit for me?" And I go, "I don't know. How
No.
sad is it?"
Oh,
I'm very
Yeah.
cautious with anything he presents me.
Ferret was pestering me to write, and she's like, "Go write, go write." And I'm like, "I wrote," and then she's like, "Yay!" And then I'm like, "Oh, but it's a sequel to my sad shipping."
Well, no, I
fic."
believe
She's
my
like,
statement
"Oh."
was, "Can I see it?" And you were like, "Well, it's a sequel to my tragic fic," and I went, "Oh, never mind." But yeah, you wrote. Speaking of,
The one
So-
crossover property I've probably had the most trouble with in terms of things that were submitted to Equestria Daily at least is Kingdom Hearts. Just because you all of a sudden get a ton of characters thrown at you.
yeah,
Right.
it's really hard to keep
Really
them
hard
all
to figure
separate.
out.
I read one fic where where like Lauren Faust is a character in the story,
Oh,
and
Jesus Christ.
she is like there's a secret animation bureau, and like cartoon worlds are somehow melded together, and she's like the police keeper of the universes.
So it's basically Wreck-It Ralph, except
Kind of. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I'm gonna expand a bit on the Kingdom Hearts problem because not only are you having so many people thrown at you at once, but the familiar names like Goofy and Daffy are not the same characters as many people would expect. Like
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse kills things. He straight up beats foes to death. That is not the Mickey
He
Mouse.
straight up murders them, and it's just like, it's okay.
But
I
he
just
beats
can't do
up nobodies.
Yeah.
There's literally a species called nobodies who
Yeah.
are the empty shells left behind when a heartless. I read a PowerPoint presentation explaining the plot of Kingdom Hearts, and it's
Jesus.
I'll define this because it's like this guy was the teacher of this guy, and it's like showing the pictures, and it's like so this guy who is a clone of this guy, but he's different from this guy. It's like because of all of the DS sequels on Kingdom Hearts, like the plot line has become this giant clusterfuck. And
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, no,
Raz,
Final
Not
Fantasy
as
at
bad
least
as
is
Final
separate.
Fantasy, because Final Fantasy is at least typically each game is its own discrete universe.
Mhm.
Like there is
It's
some
rare
connection.
for
The Kingdom Hearts
Yeah.
stuff is everything is interconnected.
yes.
It's basically a soap opera for Disney.
Raz,
To be honest
Yes.
here, it's basically a soap at this point.
Mm.
All we need is, the random pregnancies, and then we're set.
Jesus Christ.
so
The fan fiction
Faison
is so
noticed that you said Ace Combat games it doesn't work for a crossover. Faison noticed that, and he said that we featured a story that Joe had heavy inspiration from Ace Combat games.
God damn
Of
it,
course
Faison.
he noticed that. Of course he fucking did.
Of course he did.
I kind of question that because heavy inspiration isn't the same as direct.
It has a crossover tag. So
Define heavy inspiration. Yeah.
you have to
like,
ask Sock and Ambion. They were on that round.
Oh, God damn it.
I don't think they're gonna remember anything.
Okay, I'll have to ask them.
It was
I-
it wasn't. It was only in last September, so it wasn't that long ago.
Cool.
Well, I
It's
haven't
pretty long.
read the fix, so I haven't seen it done well. So
It's hard to remember things.
yes.
To 1 second, it does have the crossover tag, but to quote the description, original universe with heavy inspiration. So.
Faison pointed it out. I'm just saying what Faison said.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you're
Phazon.
the
There was
messenger,
no
which
hiding
means
from
we have to
Phazon.
shoot you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I would like to repeat. See, you just said. I just said what Faison said. C-squared, I'd like you to sit in the corner and go reevaluate your life at this point.
Yeah. Think about what you've done.
So
We do have
hard
another.
to Ninetales and Sunset Shimmer plushie.
We have another question. We got a question.
Oh, wait, are you giving me guys something? Help me, plushie. Is that what you're doing? Can I have one?
What's the question?
We have a question from Dosu in the. He switched. He was back in Skype and now he's back on the boards again. I don't know. He's just being a rebel at this point.
Yeah.
The question is for Pav. Pav, tell me with your magic beard, how do you do a character study of a character who doesn't have much canon characterization? So I'm assuming this would be like a character study of Lyra. Or a character study of one of the background ponies.
You do what everyone else does.
Well, no. He says a character with not much. The background ponies have none at all. So I think what he means is like a character like Luna or Cheerly.
Final Scratch? Because...
Cheerly.
Yeah.
Max could potentially fit that.
Yeah.
Like...
Applejack.
I think it's...
Shots fired.
Ouch, them fighting words.
I think because the question was addressed to my magic beard.
We should let the magic beard speak.
I would say that the first thing that pops into my mind is the situation with the end of season 2, where a giant shitstorm came up because, oh my God, you just said that Twilight has a brother now, and I don't want to include a brother in my fanfic. And the advice I gave way back in season 2 is you don't need to pay lip service to that aspect of it. If you want to, if you mention she's an only child, you're going to have a plot of consistency at that point. But as long you don't, if you omit a bigger brother, that's not a problem. If you simply don't mention him because he's away, like that's not a problem. So I think with these characters where you've got limited information, you don't need to. You would potentially need to be, fearful, I guess, of canon eventually ruining your idea in the far distant future because it reveal. You'd say that Shirley is a single child and it reveals that Shirley has a sister in season 7 or something like that.
Just waiting for that Big Mac episode.
Yeah, true. But I mean, I think for the most part, like, you have what has been established in canon, and from there you basically have the freedom to do whatever. So you can really define the character as you see fit. You can, like I've seen a lot of people like using Cheerily as a continued example. I've seen a lot of stories with like the like budding childhood romance that didn't go anywhere that gets rekindled with Big Mac, or like being a teacher and the difficulties of that and exploring like those themes. Basically, like honor what has been presented in canon, but from beyond that, you basically have free reign to do whatever you want. Would be my answer.
And my vote is too, like, canon is great, but there is absolutely nothing stopping you from saying, you know what, I don't feel like following canon. Yeah. Twilight's an only child. Her brother died in a brutal accident when he was 7 or something.
There is an alternate universe tag on fanfic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, using that tag is like, there's nothing wrong with that. I know plenty of folks who, barely read anything else because they just love seeing what different takes people have on things.
Oh dear. What was it? Again, to do a character
study.
A character study. I can't even speak.
There we go.
Of someone who doesn't have much characterization, just do like you would any original character. Fun. You don't have to treat them any differently because they've got a small mention in one episode of MLP. Like, oh no, Vinyl Scratch isn't bobbing her head all the time, but when every time we've seen her, she's been bobbing her head. Oh no! Like, oh,
I'm quitting the
What will be
fandom.
ending?
yeah.
Hey,
Her eyes are red, not maroon. Oh,
Oh god.
we got a question on the YouTube comments.
oh no. Is it Dosso
How do you
again?
come up with character names?
How do you-
Only good characterization.
God damn it.
Character names, there's a really good name generator out there. The other one I like is look around at stuff in your house and then look at colors and adjectives and then mash them together until something good comes up.
Oh god.
It's really just a matter of.
There was a big thing a while ago where people were criticizing people for sticking colors in front of objects, like blue sky and stuff like that. There was a big thing about that. But then you look at the show and you've got Silver Spoon. Like,
Yeah,
And Diamond Tiara.
your argument has been.
Diamond is not a color.
no, it's pink.
Amethyst Sparkler.
Something Pinkie Pie.
Yeah, basically.
Amethyst Sparkler.
Yep.
Applejack. She's
Wait,
the
is that
color of
a name?
apples.
Is Amethyst something.
Amethyst
Star.
Sparkler. Or
Red
Amethyst
Squirrel.
Star, I've seen.
Yeah.
Red Squirrel. Yeah.
Oh. Getting too deep.
Ah,
Getting too deep.
I went with adjectives for my
It's
name.
really just a matter of what clicks.
Yeah.
There's really, you could come up with whatever the heck you want. And
If you look at the show, you've got everything ranging from like Shining Armor and Silver Spoon to Twilight Sparkle. Like, what the fuck?
Cherry Jubilee.
Cheerily. What?
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
you've got all
And that's
these.
an old pony name.
It
Like,
is
Cheerilee has been around for multiple generations.
true.
And I mean, you have things like Applejack or arguably Rarity, you know, which are getting vaguely prophetic, you know, pertaining to the special talent before they've even discovered special talent. So you know, don't be afraid to go that route.
Actually, something I really love is how people have tackled that, the idea of, like, how do you know what to name the kid before they get your cutie mark? And I've seen two ideas. One, that it is sort of a prophetic thing, and the other is that there is the child name and there is the adult name. Like, when you get your cutie mark, you become an adult and then you choose a new name for yourself. And I have to admit, I think that's a really cool concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you become an adult, you get your count, you get your new name, you get trafficked across a border.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, come on, you gotta keep the movement going.
One of
In
my
the back of a
stories,
van with about 3 different people called Jose. Yes.
one of my
Well, how about
stories
you
was
just say
actually
Jose did it and you're
criticized
safe.
You
on
mean
that
Jesus, right?
on that point. One of my stories was actually criticized about that, like Sword Hammer Stallion, which is a very early story of mine.
And he's still
A
good.
very recent comment says, I really don't understand is why this is about Reveille. His name doesn't make sense in context unless there's an unstated assumption that parents don't have a choice in what their children's names are. Why would a couple who agreed they wanted their son to grow up to be a smith at any rate not guard a name closely tied to soldiering? And my response is basically, well, I just like the name. You know? I mean, in the end, it doesn't really have to mean anything.
No.
As long as it's a good name.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people like to tie pony names to pony world building.
Yeah.
I'm not really like that because I just like whatever. This is his name now. I don't. If you look any further than that,
You're
kind of putting words in the author's story.
I've just seen what Pam's dying. Yeah.
We were talking about all the ponies named Jose, and so Dave's on pony channel. She put hose.
Jose. Oh dear. Oh dear.
There is, there is a Cadence variant whose name is Princess Cadience, or Canadians.
Canadians?
Yes.
Princess
Who
Canada.
has a couple of stories about her, which are hilarious.
Yeah.
There's also forcible touchings.
Can
I
we?
forgot about the touchings.
We have to stop. I think Pam's about to asphyxiate. Based on
I
this.
forgot about the touchings.
Now, Pam's gone ultrasonic.
He's summoning bats.
I think he's echolocating his way to the desk.
I feel Bob here of George's powers.
Somebody
I
do
think
it.
I think Pav's size have reached orbit now.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
Oh, he's back. Never mind.
Yep. There we
Oh,
go.
you know.
Although you do remember the forcible touchings jingle I wrote.
I haven't
I
heard
remember
this.
I'm not familiar with the jingle. This is
I
new
never
to me.
It was written to the tune of Cold Miser from that.
Oh,
Oh
I
no.
have to sing
they
it.
call him Cold Miser.
Call me
Whenever he
Pav
starts
Miser,
to phrase in his touch.
'cause my
He's too
forcible
much.
touch causes you blush. I'm too much.
Oh my god.
What have you done? You killed him.
Boom, ba-da-da-da, da-da.
Gold mines isn't a thing in this country. I don't know if I'm disappointed in that or not.
You should be. Because
No
Frank and
miser is the best.
Well, now it's making me think of that time that Homer Simpson was singing about his name. It's the name you want to touch, but you mustn't touch.
Oh, Jesus. I am so smart. S-M-R-T. I mean S-M-A-R-T. Oh, Jesus. What were we talking about before this?
Something
Forcible
meaningful.
touchings.
Yeah, before forcible touchings.
Taking
This
names
is
from
the way. For anybody watching, this is the way you disable an attacking Pav.
Yeah. You just start singing about forcible touching.
Okay, I guess singing about forcible touchings is better than doing
but
them.
it has to come in perfect context when it's least expected.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, I built up the immunity for a while, but then it went on break, and now it's like retro. So
Retro touchings.
retro touching.
Retro forcible touching. It's the new rule.
retro
Like an
touchings.
afro and hammer pants.
Yeah, retro touchings is what his dad was called back in the 70s. That's what happens on the dance floor.
Can't touch this.
To the Bee Gees.
Can't touch this.
Jesus.
So everyone, this is Pav Chair. He's taking over for Pav Fiera.
I need to switch my lower third.
Pound chair. Jesus Christ.
How did forcible touchings even come about again?
BP.
Oh, it was because, me and BP. Like, BP was talking about something, and I made the joke about forcible touchings being the worst OC ever, and everyone just sort of died.
My friends were sitting in some panel. At some
That was it. It was people were discussing America versus Canada. Like, America has school shootings, but in Canada we've got forcible touching.
It's our secret shame.
Oh, dude.
They're talking of horrible OCs. Friends of mine have a pair they made up. They call Drinky Drive and Gin in Traffic.
Oh, geez.
And Drinky Drive's cutie mark is like a martini glass with the tire tread. Just like covering his butt. And then Gin in Traffic is like a martini glass, but instead of an olive, it's a pair of keys.
Jesus.
I'm making them ponies.
We're losing panelists by the minute here.
Huh?
This is going to be a war of attrition.
Well, but what I love even more is the only picture they have of Drinky Drive and Gin in Traffic was drawn by a friend of ours while he was drunk. They felt it was appropriate.
Yeah,
Where
he's
is
usually
this
a new
picture?
spirit animal.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, Jesus fucking Christ.
Why did the pony have tires for legs like Wheelie Bopper?
Oh, God.
No, they're regular ponies. He just has like a tire tread across his butt.
Oh, because see, if he did have wheels, Present Perfect would write a story about him.
I know.
Absolutely.
I tried to convince him. I was like, come on, dude, you could get fan fiction, but he said no.
Come on, dude. Present perfect, please.
Come on, President.
No, we just need to make him listen to this podcast, and he'll do
I
it
was
anyway.
gonna say we need to have President on here sometime. We talk about it.
If he listens to this podcast, the next story he's going to have out is going to be about forcible touchings. You know it.
we did have him on one time. We had him as a guest star here.
Yeah. I don't think I was.
Needs to come again.
No, it was pretty small.
Apparently, it was memorable.
Clearly.
Did it involve forcible touching?
We've never. I'm pretty sure we were there. We talked about full-size God's horse in the last 5 seconds.
To be fair, we tend to have fairly memorable discussions on these podcasts.
I was gonna say they tend to be pretty recognizable. It's just you listened to last night, didn't you? Yup.
They tend to be pretty memorable, but we don't remember them.
I keep trying to get President to write a sequel to that story called My Plus Size Goddess Horse, where she's a lingerie model, but he won't do it.
Clearly, we need to get him on here. Might of peer pressure will convince him.
Oh, Jesus.
Barrett has the knowledge, and she has the power.
Yeah.
All things forcible touching.
Yes.
I need to make that a T-shirt for what American Friends do.
Oh no!
When I say that,
Barrett, make that a T-shirt and wear it the wrong
No, don't you dare.
It's just the Canadian flag on the background as well. Yes.
Yep.
Ah.
I wear it to BronyCon when I'm not doing cosplay. Pav will just see me and collapse. I'll just like crumple to the ground laughing. And everyone's like, "What did you do to him?" I'm like, I didn't do anything.
And then the person who asked that will stare at your shirt and like try connecting dots.
Yeah, and we'll still be confused. And they go, "Wait a minute, I remember that podcast."
One of a million of viewers.
Implying that people will actually memorize these.
Barrett, I think the most viewers we've ever gotten is like 15. And I'm pretty sure.
We have millions and millions.
Well, I mean, you usually get more viewers after it's gone up, but yeah, like actually watching the stream is pretty low.
Yeah, like we've got a couple of videos with several hundred people on it. I think the most we ever got at one point was 30 people watching it live, and I think I can't remember which guest that was.
No, it was a Twilight Library thing.
Oh yeah, with Skeeter and that on, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the podcast where Skeeter came on, and then like 2 days later is when the entire group blew up. So
Yeah.
you know how like
everybody went and watched it because they figured it might have had something to do with it.
Colbert has like the Colbert bump, and like we have like if you become a guest on our show, your career will crumble. So Pascal, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's the Colbert bump, and
Okay,
it's the Hells Angels bomb.
Everybody read my story
gone
tonight.
in a week.
It'll be deleted tomorrow.
AKB is gone in a week. Fantastic.
Great.
Oh dear. We've
I'm
got a
just going to sit back
question.
and see how many emails Pasco gets about, what do you mean you're deleting your stories?
Yeah. We've got a question
Get 'em from now.
Question from Yam Goth the Moth. How drunk do you guys get before the podcast?
I don't drink, surprisingly. This is me sober.
I was going to say, this is me completely sober. I might have a drink afterwards, but I'm way too nervous to drink beforehand.
I've had maybe a couple of sips of scotch, so that's literally nothing.
I've had maybe like 5 or 6 fingers of amaretto or something like that. I'm a lightweight, but
You've had about 5 or 6 fingers of forced touching.
I saw where that was going, but I didn't realize the extent of it.
I saw where it was going, and I was just going, come on, somebody do it.
So now there's a rating system for how forcible the touchings are?
Yes.
You measure it by fingers, yeah.
Come on, you guys have, like, that color warning. We have to have one, too. But it's colors, we use fingers.
What do you mean, you guys?
You American folk.
Wow, so triggering.
Have we not discussed this already in my feelings about your mother?
Possibly we have, but I don't remember.
Neither does brother.
The touch rating has been upgraded to orange.
We're at forcible touchings 4. Repeat, forcible touchings 4.
It kind of gives 2 thumbs up new meaning.
Oh,
Having
God.
Pass go around is so great. It's like having a ticking bomb. Eventually he's going to say something and set everyone off. You just don't know when.
Oh yeah, people always find that out the hard way. I remember at my first job, I sat there for a week at lunch not saying much, and then I told a joke, and they said, I didn't think that would be the first thing I heard from you.
Jesus Christ.
The only reason I'm used to it is because I have a friend who's the exact same way. Who'll just, be really quiet, sit there, won't say a lot, and then we'll just cut with terrible jokes. And it's just kind of, wow, where did that come
Wow. Oh god, Yamgoth the Moth points out that the current write-off prompt is all in. We need to use this with the forcible touchings.
That's actually the previous prompt. That was from the last write-off.
That's the previous one.
Yeah, that was the last one.
The current one is
Yeah.
closing time.
So close.
Oh, which means there are going to be a million song prompts.
Oh yes.
I'm betting at least 5 of them are going to be about like Pony Joe closing down his donut shop and Princess Celestia being sad. That is
Do not want.
I am okay with more Pony Joe because I think he's an entertaining character. Whether he's just some guy like running a donut shop and chilling out, or whether he's like a secret agent, I still think.
I don't mind more Pony Joe. I just don't want to read Pony Joe closing down the shop and being sad. Like
it'll be Pinkie Pie. Don't worry.
Yeah, Pinkie Pie's Tricky Cube Corner, or Twilight Sparkle in the library, or Rarity with a shop, or Applejack and a farm. It's just going to be the same story, just with palette swaps, really, if I'm quite honest.
Basically.
As always.
Yay!
Nah, that's not true.
You're so positive. You're like a little happy ray of sunshine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What else can I be but a happy ray of Glaswegian sunshine? Also known as
know what sun is?
Yeah.
All the way up there?
Oh, Yamgoth.
Or is that a case of you see it whenever the heroin kicks in?
There is... The sun does not shine on Glasgow, I can tell you that much.
Yamgoth just asked a... Sorry, Yamgoth just asked a question.
Oh.
What is the most hilarious smut you've read?
Oh
no
my
idea.
god.
The most hilarious smut?
Yeah.
Well, are we talking like it's trying to be hilarious, or it's hilarious because it is that bad?
Is this jokes about dirty jokes? Because I remember one where Fluttershy was mistaken for a porn star.
Oh,
Like that.
yeah, Fluffershy.
Fluffershy, yeah.
Fluttershy. Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
I remember that one.
Or are we talking about a smut story that's so hilariously bad? Like
Are we talking, genitalia so large it rearranges their internal organs kind of thing?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about teen-rated stuff, Colton Gardez's Naked Singularity.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
That is just hands down one of his most popular stories, and it drives him nuts.
I know. He's just like, I write these, very, very interesting, the glass blower. Oh,
I write these, beautiful,
guy.
intelligent stories, and everybody knows me for this. And then I just kind of look and go, how many followers do you have, and how many hits does everything you write get? Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people want those problems.
Oh, Jesus. Poor Gomez. Gomez is stupidly talented. He's one of these people who's stupidly good at things, and I hate him for it, but I also kind of respect him because he's good at everything. And also because he snapped my neck.
He's such a genuinely nice guy.
Returned to us.
Yeah. He's a really cool guy. He's a really cool guy, and he does cool
Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And also he.
At the same time, it's kind of unnerving how talented he is. Like he writes, he draws, he does.
I still
military, this, that, and the other thing.
As Jake the Army Guy and Belligerent Sock in a room and see what they do together.
Did you see Jake's latest blog post where he gets attacked by a dog?
Yes, that was hilarious.
Who?
Jake the Army Guy, his blog post where he was recording. Yeah. He was recording a thing for the.
It's public relations, so he was doing a thing with the K9 military unit, and for the ending clip, they actually have the dog attack him.
Yeah, I remember that.
So he posted the outtakes because there's 7 outtakes of him flubbing it. And he said because he was just so goddamn nervous. So his dog is snapping and startling just off camera, and he's just kind of oh god. Oh god.
Wouldn't you be too if you had a dog like that after you?
Yeah, it's a German Shepherd. It's not a small dog.
But I do like this idea, though. I think that we should get Colton Gardez and Sock and Jake the Army Guy in a room together, and just see what happens.
You have to get the third plushie in there.
I got Sweetie.
Oh,
I got
gotta keep it both on now.
More plushies acquired.
I don't. He needs more plushies. I don't have any plushies like right here, so just imagine that I have one of my other plushies.
Plushie intensive.
Use the pony on your whiteboard there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, use your wife.
This is what we should end the stream on.
Yeah, I was
Beautiful.
gonna say this would be the end of the stream. 3 ponies.
Absolutely.
3 ponies, 1 whiteboard.
See, Gap Taxi doesn't want this.
Nope.
Poor Jaxie.
Oh yeah, he says he has taken the challenge of writing a good Aces crossover.
Well, no, I was talking about because that's
There
apparently
you go.
Jaxie. That's on the whiteboard.
Oh, Two Broke Girls? Is he writing a Two Broke Girls crossover?
Yes, G.K. Jaxie
Yes,
has been
that's
challenged to
great.
write a Two Broke Girls crossover.
The gauntlet has been thrown, ladies and gentlemen.
You heard it here first. Now get on him
Yes.
to write it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just imagine the American Gladiators theme song playing as we fade out here.
Exactly.
Oh god, I can't wait to
Oh,
read that.
dear.
That's gonna be- I've not even seen the show, and I know this is going to be special.
That's kind of all you need to know. It's
Mhm.
special.
Mhm.
Enough said.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, we should be wrapping this up. We are
I think
sliding.
we
I think Pav's
Oh, no,
chair
have we
could go for
reached the-
another hour.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Totally.
I think
Sam's
it's
chair is just
stamina.
getting started.
I don't
Even
know.
though he did it.
Also, because Deja reminded me in the chat, I got a brand new blue snowball microphone, and I am free to read fics and stuff.
Hey!
I got a blue
Hey,
snowball as
Red.
well. Excellent. This is
That's
good.
pretty awesome.
I have
Yeah.
my crappy little Logitech.
I tried to do it on the cheap. The snowball microphone is the most expensive thing I've bought so far. My sound booth is literally just a cardboard box with foam.
As long as you
And I
catch
don't even-
bone to it, you'll be
The microphone isn't even on a stand. It's just the ball of the microphone.
fine. Yeah.
well, you know, I mean, Present Perfect is always looking for new fanfic readers, so if you record something, he might start watching you pretty closely there.
He already does. He's just waiting for Red to update Milo Metro.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Him and me both.
Dear.
Uh,
It will
So to be
never
fair, right
happen.
now he's been updating Prince of Dust, and I'll take that as a happy compromise.
Metro is on hiatus for a reason.
That said, we haven't
Not for
mentioned
a
this
reason.
on the stream. We haven't talked about this on the stream, I don't think, but Operation By Recommendation was a huge success, and now...
Yeah.
Hey!
It was
BP is
awesome.
now
He got a
the-
stalker.
Yeah, he's doubled the number of followers in just under 2 days, which is absolutely fantastic and hilarious.
Doesn't he have like,
Do you-
over 100 more now?
Yeah, he's on 180 or something like that at the moment.
Nice.
Which
Something like that.
Can you recap for people who don't know what the hell we're talking about? Can you recap what the hell this is?
For people who don't know, one time on Skype I said to Ferret, BP deserves more followers than he's got. She said, yes he does, and we told people to talk about BP. And they did, and now he gained 80 followers in like 5 hours, which is
The
hilarious.
problem is basically the Tom fails to realize that if you give me an idea for something, I will follow through on it.
Yeah.
I will go, this is a good
very
idea,
prepared
and
for
I
this.
will do it.
Yeah. Jesus, so that worked fantastically, and now, because of the fact that he's doubled his follower count, he doesn't want to disappoint them, and is, as we speak, writing more Zebra, which is...
He's writing more Zebra?
Fantastic.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Wonderful.
He's writing more Planeswalkers, so...
My body is ready.
My body...
This goes to show kids that if you want to get someone to write, you have to peer pressure them.
Yeah, bribe
Basically.
This
bribe
is
them
true.
with follows.
Ask Ferret. Ferret's good at the peer pressure.
Yeah.
I'm good at getting people to
you
listen to
writing?
me and stuff I want.
Pam, are you writing
Talent.
it?
I did. I told you. I wrote something, but Ferret can't read it because it's too sad.
And if he makes me cry, everyone else gets mad. I mean, come on, we know what happened when Sock admitted he made me cry. Everyone went dead silent.
Aww. Aww. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh dear.
Anyway.
But yes, thank you to everyone who participated in that, and thank you
Mhm.
to everyone who was confused and didn't get mad at us for it.
There was one person who got mad at Present Perfect, but everyone else was fine. Like,
Yeah, they got
I was
mad
gonna
and they're
say.
like, "This seems like an abuse of the rules," and we're like,
No.
"What?"
It's not actually. We talked to Wanderer D beforehand, who confirmed it's not an abuse of the rules, and
Yeah.
there was a reason that I stressed that if people were going to promote him, they needed to actually want to do it. Like they needed to talk about a story they thought was worth it,
Speaking
rather than
of,
just a generic, "Oh my God, follow my friend."
speaking of, people thought it was like a bandwagon thing. So like we got 2 or 3 people who weren't.
Yeah.
Who got
Yeah,
it.
we got people who post down there just like, "Oh well, I just found about this guy because like Obs blogged about him, so I'm gonna reblog him," and that was hilarious.
Yeah, which
I know.
was kind of
Like,
awesome.
I
Unexpected.
made people. There were at least 3 or 4 people who decided to join in for the hell of it, which was absolutely goddamn hilarious.
Yeah, which was just like, wow, I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
But
And then
awesome.
they signed on 9 hours later, like, what the hell?
Yeah, his exact
His
words
first
were, "I
words.
don't even."
No, his first words were, "What happened?"
It was pretty glorious.
What is?
What is happened?
He forgot the D.
And of course, my response is, "I'm sorry, please don't hate me." Because in some way I
And then he had to-
construed it to imply that he might be upset.
And then he went away for 5 minutes and was like, "Okay, I'm leaving for a moment, but you're all goddamn beautiful." Like, I think we passed.
Yeah, that was about when I started calming down. I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we're in the clear."
Oh, Jesus Christ,
Oh,
that was
dear.
absolutely hilarious.
Well,
See,
I mean,
next
we got
next-
some really good blog posts of it too. I mean, like I loved Pab's analysis of his fix, and I really liked Al's discussion as well.
Yeah, like a lot of them were recommendations. Like mine was a recommendation. What did I recommend? I think it was it
I recommended that Brush with Beauty.
Yeah, a lot of people recommended that. There was also the Hyena's Laugh and a Planeswalker were all those were the 3 most popular ones. I can't remember which one I did, but there were some pretty insightful.
Hyena's Laugh is my favorite.
Yeah, it was pretty
which
great.
was really
but
cool.
I just have to go with Planeswalkers because the zebra rhyming in that thing is fucking phenomenal.
Oh God, it's
Dude,
amazing.
I especially if you have written zebras, if you tried to written zebra, like I had to write a couple of chapters as a Korra, writing rhymes and having it like actually like have her say what you want to say and make it rhyme, that is fucking hard. So looking at all the stuff that BP has done with zebras and just like how effortlessly the rhymes flow.
yeah,
But
it's
it is
ridiculous.
very good practice, so I recommend it to people.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
do it, but it's a lot harder than you might think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Currently trying to get Present Perfect to talk me out of writing a Zakora story.
Pasco, write the Zakora story.
Right, there's a cool story. Absolutely. Oh dear. Oh, we've also got the most dangerous game going on at the moment, or the most dangerousest game.
Yeah,
Even.
the most
Or
dangerous
most
game.
dangerous game.
I have peanut butter.
How fantastic for you, Pav. Round 1 of judging is wrapping up tonight and tomorrow, so we're advancing and things are progressing. We've got some pretty decent prizes lined up for that, haven't we?
Yes, yes,
good.
we do.
Yes. Not gonna. The public knows about them already, don't they? They've already
Yep.
been-
Oh yeah, no, we posted lists of them. Like when the contest dropped, it was here's what you
yeah.
can potentially win.
Like a reading from Obab Scribble is actually a pretty big thing.
Not even just a reading; it's a full radio play.
Yeah.
She's gonna do, a full radio thing
Of what?
of a story of
One
your
of
choice.
winners.
I think up to
Of a
the
story of the
720
winner's
words.
choice. It doesn't have
It's
to
the
be
winner's,
one of.
yeah, it's the winner's choice. It can be your story, it can be someone else's story. It doesn't matter.
Well, damn, now I regret not getting entering in this thing.
Yes, yes, you should.
I don't really regret it. Isn't there something like 90-ish competitors?
To be fair, Outside Insight had 114.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then
I
the
made the
first
mistake
dangerous
of
game
checking
had
for
like
that.
60.
Yeah, like the
Besides
first
Red.
round cut 60. Yeah.
Besides Red, you are a great writer. You would easily get into the top 20.
Yeah.
You did. You got Sylphidine was in the top 10, wasn't it, Traz?
I got 8
Yeah.
with Sylphidine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sylphanine was really popular with all the judges. Everybody was just like, oh damn, this is awesome. Like, this is what we wanted when we made this contest.
And according to Alex Magnet, it's the only one.
Yeah. But anyway. But yes.
It was one of the only ones that everyone agreed on, yes.
Like a couple of the others, there were one or two people who really hated it. Like for some reason, Alex couldn't stand Queen of Queens, which is just mind blowing to me. Alex is a
Right.
But,
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, but Alex doesn't read things, so clearly his matter of taste is awful.
Yeah, I hadn't, separated to become my own consciousness. I was still stifling him, so.
yeah. That's not going to make sense unless you're friends with Ferret on Skype. Anyway, it's unfortunate we are going to have to round this up, people. Much thanks to Pasco, who joined us for this episode and amused us greatly, despite the fact that we talked over him so much.
Oh, yes. And was so patient with us talking over him so much.
And all these forcible touchings, like...
I have fever!
There is no end of the